There's a moment that happens in every rapper's career, a moment where they have to decide between making what's hot and making what's real. But with his new album GNX, Kendrick Lamar just gave us a masterclass in how to do both. On today's episode of How to Rap, this isn't just another album review. What we're about to break down are 4 game-changing secrets that could revolutionize how you approach your entire career as a rapper, or really anything creative in life. Because what Kendrick did with GNX isn't just about the music, it's about understanding how to wield your identity, your influences, and your artistic choices as weapons. Now, before we begin, if you're watching this and you're tired of just learning from YouTube videos but actually want to build a career like Kendrick's, click the first link in the description to get our Rap Tycoon course. No doubt it's the same step-by-step system I've used to help thousands of artists go from bedroom rappers to full-time professionals, and it comes with over $1,000 in free bonuses when you sign up today. But with that said, let's dive into the first secret that's about to change everything you thought you knew about making it creatively. There's a war being fought in studios across the world right now, but you won't hear any gunshots. Instead, you'll hear the sound of artists trying to escape their roots, talented rappers running from their regional identity, delivering hometown bars with borrowed flows, and you might have caught yourself doing the same thing. You know that feeling. The constant struggle between repping where you're from and chasing what's hot on social media. But here's what you need to understand. In hip-hop, your location isn't just where you're from, it's who you are. And nobody proves this better than what Kendrick just did with GNX. Before streaming homogenized everything, before TikTok made every trend accessible everywhere, rap was built on regional identity. Your block, your neighborhood, your city wasn't just background info, it was your blueprint. When NWA blew up, they weren't just bringing bars to the world, they were bringing Compton. When Snoop emerged, that smooth Long Beach drawl wasn't just a flow, it was geography turned into rhythm. This is exactly what GNX understands and weaponizes. Listen to how Kendrick deploys DJ Mustard's signature bounce on TV off. That's not just a beat choice, that's LA's DNA encoded in sound. The G-Funk undertones threading through the album aren't just throwback aesthetics, they're sonic coordinates mapping Kendrick's territory. Even the way he structures his bars echoes the cadence of LA street talk. This isn't just music, it's cartography. You want to know why this matters more than ever? Look at what just happened in the Drake battle. When Drake tried to use AI Tupac and Snoop to mock Kendrick's West Coast credentials, he accidentally proved Kendrick's entire point. You can't fake what's in your cultural DNA. While Drake was playing with digital ghosts, Kendrick was in the studio with actual LA artists like Paiso and Hitta J3. That's not just collaboration, that's cultivation of regional authenticity. This is why Compton isn't just a location in hip-hop, it's mythology. From NWA to Kendrick, each artist added their block, their corner, their story to the larger narrative. Every bar builds on that foundation, every reference reinforces that power. Think about it. Before social media and streaming platforms, the different clothing styles, the way people rapped, the slang they used, all of this came from somewhere specific. When artists blew up, they weren't just representing hip-hop as a genre, they were ambassadors for their cities, their neighborhoods, sometimes down to their specific blocks. There's a reason why Compton, as one neighborhood in the LA area, became iconic. It's because its artists understood that geography wasn't just setting, it was power. Right now, you might be thinking your location isn't as iconic as Compton, isn't as marketable as Atlanta, isn't as established as New York, but that's exactly why it's your superpower. And every place has its own rhythm, its own language, its own story waiting to be told. Your job isn't to run from that, it's to amplify it, understand it, weaponize it. But here's where it gets interesting, because owning your geography isn't just about where you're from, it's about understanding how to translate that into sound. And that's where our next secret comes in, because once you understand your geographic power, you need to know how to wear your influences like a crown. Let's talk about something that might seem counterintuitive at first. Kendrick Lamar, possibly the most technically skilled rapper alive, deliberately choosing to simplify his approach. We're talking about an artist who gave us the complexity of To Pimp a Butterfly, now stripping everything back to its core, but this isn't a step backward. It's a power move that most rappers are too insecure to make. On GNX, Kendrick isn't hiding his Tupac influence, he's amplifying it. Listen to those end-of-bar rhyme schemes on Whacked Out Murals. The cadence, the rhythm, the way the bars land, it's all deliberately echoing the West Coast legend. Where other rappers might try to obscure their influences, mixing them up to seem more original, Kendrick's doing something braver. He's wearing them like a crown. This is a complete departure from what we've seen before. On To Pimp a Butterfly, we got jazz-influenced complexity, bars within bars, rhythms that twisted and turned like smoke. On Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, we got therapeutic layering, voices conversing with themselves. But here, we're getting something rawer, more direct, more connected to hip-hop's bloodline. You can even hear it in how he handles the Lil Wayne situation. On Whacked Out Murals, right after referencing Wayne's Super Bowl comments, Kendrick slides into a Wayne-style flow pattern. This isn't mockery, it's acknowledgement. He's showing us that influence isn't something to run from, it's something to run with. Here's what most rappers get wrong. They think being influenced means being unoriginal. They spend so much energy trying to hide their inspirations that they end up with something that sounds like nothing at all. But look at what Kendrick's doing on GNX. He's not just nodding to his influences, he's having a conversation with them. He's showing us that real originality comes from how you build on your foundations, not how well you hide them. Compare this to his earlier work, the complex rhyme patterns and intricate wordplay of Section 80. The narrative density of Good Kid, Mad City, those weren't wrong approaches. They were right for those moments, for those stories. But on GNX, Kendrick's showing us something different. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is strip everything back to its essence and let your influences shine through. This is about more than just music. It's about understanding your place in the larger story of hip-hop. Every flow you've ever loved, every cadence that made you rewind a track, every rhythm that got stuck in your head, they all came from somewhere. The question isn't whether you're influenced, it's whether you have the courage to acknowledge and build on those influences. But here's where it gets really interesting, because wearing your influences proudly is only part of the equation. What you do with them, how you present them, that's where the real magic happens. And that's where our next secret comes in, because what Kendrick did with the production on GNX isn't just about stripping things back, it's about understanding when less isn't just more, it's everything. You know that moment in the studio when you're tempted to add just one more layer, one more effect, one more anything to your vocals? That urge to stack and process until your voice sounds perfect? Well, GNX just dropped a truth bomb that's about to flip your whole approach to production upside down, and it's gonna change how you make music forever. What Kendrick's done here isn't just different, it's revolutionary. Gone are the heavily layered vocals of Damn, the therapeutic conversations of Mr. Morale, the jazz-infused complexity of To Pimp a Butterfly. Instead, we're getting something rawer, more immediate, more in your face. But don't get it twisted, this isn't laziness or corner cutting, this is mastery. Let's break down what's actually happening here. On GNX, Kendrick's using vocal effects like a sniper, not a machine gun. When the processing kicks in, it's not random, it's tactical. Listen to Squabble Up. When that beat switches up, that's when the effects hit. The processing isn't decoration, it's punctuation. It's not trying to mask his voice, it's amplifying his message. This stripped-back approach isn't just an aesthetic choice, it's creating space for something more important: impact. Without the usual dense production, every word hits harder, every pause matters more, every bar has room to breathe. It's like switching from a complex dish with dozens of ingredients to one where the quality of each individual element has to be perfect because there's nowhere to hide. Think about your favorite moments on this album. The clarity of the verses, the way each bar lands with full force, the moments where Kendrick's voice is almost uncomfortably close, that's all deliberate. That's what happens when you stop using production as a safety net and start using it as a weapon. Here's the thing most artists get wrong. They think more production equals more professionalism. They're stacking effects like they're building a wall between themselves and the listener. But what GNX proves is that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is tear down that wall. Let people hear the grain in your voice, the breath between your bars, the raw energy of your delivery. Look at how he handles the transitions on TV Off. When that beat switches and Kendrick starts screaming Mustard's name, there's barely any processing on his voice. That's not an accident. That's confidence. That's understanding that sometimes the most impactful production choice is choosing not to produce. This approach isn't just about music, it's about trust. Trust in your voice, trust in your bars, trust in your ability to hold attention without hiding behind layers of effects. When you strip everything back like this, you're making a statement. My words are enough, my voice is enough, my message is enough. But here's where things get really interesting. Because this stripped back production style isn't happening in a vacuum, it's part of a larger strategic picture. And that's where our next secret comes in. Let's talk about something that most artists completely miss when they're planning their next release, the art of perfect timing. Because what makes GNX fascinating isn't just what it is, but when it is. And if you understand this secret, you're about to unlock a level of strategic thinking that could completely transform your career. Think about it. Kendrick drops this album right before Thanksgiving 2024, just months before he's set to headline the Super Bowl. That's not coincidence, that's chess. But it goes deeper than just timing. What we're seeing here is a masterclass in knowing how to build on your existing foundation instead of trying to reinvent the wheel every time you drop. Look at TV Off. It's carrying the DNA of Not Like Us, but this isn't some lazy remix, it's evolution. Kendrick took what worked, that mustard bounce, that infectious energy, and rebuilt it into something fresh. He's not just recycling, he's recontextualizing. And here's what most artists get wrong. They think every project needs to be their magnum opus. They're out here trying to top their last album, trying to make their To Pimp a Butterfly before they've even found their Section 80. But what GNX shows us is something more powerful, the art of knowing exactly what the moment needs. Listen to how the album closes with echoes of Father Time from Mr. Morale. That's not Kendrick running out of ideas. That's Kendrick understanding how to create continuity in his catalog. He's showing us that building a legacy isn't about constant reinvention, it's about knowing how to iterate on your strengths. This is about more than just music. It's about understanding your own artistic timeline. Kendrick's not trying to outdo the complexity of To Pimp a Butterfly or match the commercial heights of Damn. Instead, he's showing us how to take what works and push it forward. He's creating something that serves a specific purpose, giving him the perfect arsenal for that Super Bowl stage while satisfying his core audience. He's not just making an album, he's positioning himself. He's giving himself exactly what he needs for the next phase of his career while giving his audience exactly what they want right now. This is the kind of strategic thinking that separates legends from one-hit wonders. It's understanding that sometimes you need to make your GNX before you can make your next masterpiece. It's knowing when to push the envelope and when to perfect what's already working. And that's really what these 4 secrets come down to. Whether it's weaponizing your geography, wearing your influences proudly, stripping back your production, or understanding the perfect moment to evolve, it's all about making deliberate choices. It's about understanding that every release is part of a larger story, and you're the one writing it. So the next time you're planning a release, don't just think about what you're dropping. Think about when you're dropping it, why you're dropping it, and how it fits into your larger story. Because that's how you turn good music into a legendary career. And now, we'd like to see you in the comments. What's your opinion on this new album? Are we gassing it, or do you think it is indeed a good example of all the secrets we suggested? We look forward to hearing from you. And with that said, if you want to get to work right now on your career and not just Kendrick's, click the first link in the video description to get that course. I've been your host for How to Rap, and peace until the next time.